questo figlio
Who is
dell'uomo?
this Son of Man?
La verità è una ed eterna. Realizza l'unione con essa nel tuo sé immortale, nel profondo del tuo essere. Il seguente commento è basato sugli insegnamenti di Paramahansa Yogananda. La Domenica delle Palme, la folla, esultante, acclamò l'entrata di Gesù Cristo a Gerusalemme, deponendo ai suoi piedi fronde di palma e cantando: Osanna, benedetto colui che viene nel nome del Signore, il Re di Israele. Giovanni 12:13. Gesù aveva detto alla gente: bisogna che sia innalzato il figlio dell'uomo. Con queste parole, così ci viene detto, si riferiva alla sua imminente crocifissione. Alcuni in quell'occasione avevano chiesto: chi è questo figlio dell'uomo? Gesù era solamente un essere umano? Coloro i quali lo chiamarono Re la Domenica delle Palme potevano a malapena comprendere la vera natura del suo regno. Egli era molto di più di ciò che essi immaginavano. Sì, ovviamente mangiava, beveva, camminava, dormiva e parlava come gli altri, ma la sua coscienza era centrata nell'infinito. Sì, rideva anche come gli altri, ma la sua risata esprimeva la gioia divina, non una semplice allegria. Ancora, piangeva come loro, ma mai con dolore umano. Le sue lacrime erano per la sofferenza degli esseri umani non illuminati, mai lacrime di autocommiserazione. Gesù Cristo era risvegliato in Dio. Molti, per contrasto, sono spiritualmente addormentati. Non è strano che neppure una settimana dopo quell'entrata trionfale a Gerusalemme, in cui fu così gioiosamente acclamato, Gesù venisse arrestato, condannato e crocifisso? Così è l'esistenza, dolce e amara a un tempo. Sorridi di benvenuto un giorno, insulti e persino la persecuzione il giorno successivo. Ben pochi capiscono che Cristo non soffrì per se stesso, ma per l'ignoranza della gente, per coloro che non avevano ancora compreso la realtà più profonda che dimorava anche in loro. Ognuno viene al mondo lasciando dietro di sé nuvole di gloria. Come disse il poeta Wordsworth, persino il più umile mendicante ha vissuto una storia, o la vivrà prima o poi, più grandiosa della più grande epica mai scritta. Nella Bhagavad Gita troviamo una bella descrizione di questa dicotomia tra il figlio dell'uomo e l'interiore figlio di Dio. Sri Krishna, che rappresenta Dio in forma umana, rivela la sua vera natura infinita. Nell'11° capitolo di questa grande scrittura, il suo principale discepolo Arjuna esclama: «O infinita luce, il tuo fulgore irradiandosi nell'universo risplende persino negli abissi più profondi. La tua voce sommerge il fragore di cosmici cataclismi. Oh meraviglia! Miriadi di stelle sono il tuo diadema. Il tuo scettro irradia potere ovunque. O Brahma immortale, Signore del tutto, incessantemente ai piedi della tua infinità giaccio prostrato dinanzi a te». Così, attraverso la scrittura, Dio ha parlato all'umanità.
Ben je feliz?
I refer to that scriptures in the Bhagavad Gita that I would like to share with you the story of the Arianis saying that Jesus is the Son of the Father. There were many fights among the church because there were Arian that were quite strong at that time, and the emperor was an Arian himself, and he said that Christ was a man like everyone else, and he has to suffer, he has to die, and resurrections are not possible. That's their point of view. But in that time they were in despair, and so the one in charge of the Christianity referred to Saint Anthony of the desert, and Anthony saw Christ in his splendor, in his magnificence, and so they went there, and they, with the idea that if there is someone that can help us, is Saint Anthony. So they went to him, but they didn't knew where he was, because he appeared 40 years before, and then he hid himself in the desert. But their faith was so strong, and they had no doubt. So they walked in the desert for days and days, over and over. But then the water was very little, and they couldn't find it. But one day they find an old man, and they asked, what do you suggest in order to find Saint Anthony? And the man said, when I was younger, I met him. I was with my sheep, and I found that man, a man with a great dignity, and he helped us. And then we moved to his grotto, where he was secluded. So we thanked him, and we went away. And so that man brought the group in that grotto. And they could find Saint Anthony. They could find the grotto, at least. And they sang a chant about Jerusalem, and then Anthony came. He was in his 90s, he was very tall, his beard was very long, touching the feet, and he asked, what do you want for me? And they say, the church is needing for you. You have to be the testimonial, the greatness of Lord Jesus Christ, because many of them, they say he was just a man. And he said, I can't understand. It's obvious that he is the Son of God. And so they started to share the many different ideas in the church. And he said, I don't understand, I can't understand. And then, at the end, they say, Christ is not the Son of God. because they also had a vision. And suddenly suddenly Anthony said, "Oh, now I see. Now I realize the, the 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 donkeys are ruling the church now." And I said, "So I'm ready to come with you. I will join you." So they ride a camel on a camel, and they found the road to Alexandria of Egypt. That at that time was the center of the world. And when he arrived in Alexandria, everyone stopped. The merchants, or the butchers, the sewers, everyone stopped. And they all go to greet him. They knew he was a big, great saint. So the bishop of Alexandria wanted to offer a ceremony the day after, but people was so impatient in order to greet the saint, and they convinced to do the ceremony that same day. The church was packed with people and flowers and candles. And when they did the prayer, the creed, I believe in one single God, the Aryan people, they start shouting, "That's not true. It's just Christ is just the, the, the son of a man." But Saint Anthony stood before them all and he said just 3 words: "I have seen him. I have seen him." And everyone was quiet. Everyone was in silence. Everyone falls on his knee with just 4 words: "I have seen him." Just 4 words, but very powerful words. And it's the same, like in the Bhagavad Gita, he could see Jesus in his magnificence, in his triumph, in his greatness. And so no one commented, no one argued, and everyone could feel that that's the truth. Just because Saint Anthony said, "I have seen him." And I hope that one day, also we can see him. We'll see him. Today we do like Jyotisha Devi, half speech, me and Helmut. So, as Swami said in the reading, this dichotomy between the Son of God and the Son of Man, we also have the same within us. We are told that we are divine, that you are child of God. But we convince ourselves that we are not. I am the child of my parents. But the begotten, the child that is in every atom in nature is within us. And when we realize that, we will become Christ-like, a child of God. And Jesus Christ asked us to do the same. You all will do the same and even more, But we say, no, no, me not me. And Yogananda also said the same things. He said that the realization of the self, of the soul, of the divine part within us. Yogananda said the realization is just knowing and realizing that every single part of your body, mind and soul is that now you possess in this very moment the realm of God. You don't have to pray for that. You have just to improve your knowledge. So we already have everything. We are light, covered in many layers of many veils. But God and Jesus said, be perfect as my Father is. And Yogananda also said, if you could see yourself as I see you, you are radiant light. Look around you. Do you see radiant light? No. We are identified too much with our humanity, our personality. But we are radiant light. We are immortal beings. We are perfect children of God. That's our reality. And so, how can we come back to that reality? How can we improve our knowledge? The ego says, no way, too much. Yes, you might try this or that. But let's think for a while what Yogananda, what Jesus or Master can say. What would they do? If you read the story of their life, if you read many books of the greatest saints, Yogananda suggested to read biographies of the saints, and so we can imagine what we could do. But then the ego says again, but I'm not a saint. It is quite funny, but also moving when Asha was here, and probably I said that once or twice, when she shared what is it like to be a child of the man, but finding out how to become the son of God. And she said, do your best, or a little more of your best, a little more. And we can all do, maybe we cannot do the best, but a little better. A little better is enough. Think what masters did. And a story that came to my mind is when Master received a motorbike, a sidecar, and with Shiru Texta they were riding throughout the village. And a friend saw them, and her eyes were filled with desire for that motorcycle. And what Yogananda did, he said to him, I will give you, just wait for a moment. I go up and to take all the documents, and the son of a god, the son of a man says, maybe I'm not ready, maybe not yet. But you can see where are you here and now with your car, with your motorbike, and think about Yogananda. Yogananda gifting you, but I am here attached to my car. You can't, no one can drive it. Otherwise, it got scratched. And question yourself, how can I move towards that direction? And think the best you can do. Maybe one day, maybe just a weekend. And do it. Do just a little more. Try a little bit harder. And then, if you see masters as like Baduri Mahashaya in Calcutta, he gave all his money. He donated all his money. And you say, but I need them. I cannot donate everything. But Baduri said, I have all the reach from the Divine Mother. But our ego says, no, just a little. And think, how much can I give? And offer a little more. Explore that direction. The direction of Baduri Mahashaya. Donate a little more. Or when you meditate and you think, oh, Hong So. When we finish and think the masters meditating hours a day, 8 hours a day, maybe beneath the sun, or when you read the poem Samadhi, imagine that also you can experience such a state of bliss where everything is clear, where there is no identification, there is just oneness. The mind is perfectly still and clear. And stretch yourself 5 extra minutes, 10 extra minutes, or 2 hours, even 2 hours. But try to expand your limits. Try to stretch your identification with the son of the man. And do a little more. I remember how many times Swami was here talking how good it is to meditate. And we know, and he knew the reality. And he invited us to meditate, and he said, try to meditate 30 minutes or even 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Okay, that 5 minutes is a little more than our worst. Try to do it. Try, because in every circumstance there is what Master would do, what my soul would do, and then what my ego would do. And try, as I said at the beginning, to open your consciousness to Master's consciousness, to God's consciousness that is everywhere, and expand your little consciousness of the Son of a Man. Expand it. If for this moment I could be the soul, the infinite, immortal soul, what would I do? What would I say? And try to follow that direction. And remember, Master said, if you could see yourself, if you could look at yourself, as I see you, you are radiant light. You are immortal beings, perfect children of God. You are filled with compassion and unconditional love, of strength and courage, patient, unlimited patience. All the remaining things are just veils covering your reality, your lamp. Yeah. Can you imagine how Jesus arrived as a king in Jerusalem and then being crucified in a few days? That's life. One day you are a hero, the day after you are not. Patient. Be patient. And when someone is rude with you, that doesn't mean that you are not that perfect soul. You can still love. You can still forgive. And as Jesus did on the cross, you can pray for others. So question yourself as an infinite light, as infinite love. How do you want to face the coming week? To serve, for instance, which role would you like to perform in the name of God? And that is an important question for us, because that's our reality. All the remaining things are Maya, are just illusion. I know, you are looking at me, yes, you're right, easy for you to say that. No, masters told us, are telling us, live your highest potential. Live as a child of God. Be a child of God. And in the coming Festival of Light, you will hear the quote from Masters that you are immortal. This morning I was in the garden and I picked up some herbs, and so I could hear the singing of many birds. And I was moved because of the singing of the birds. And I had this thought, they are singing to God. And then I brought that herbs to the market, and there was a little bird on a tree, and that bird had in his mouth a little insect. And she couldn't join the area where I was. She wasn't moved towards its nest. So she looked around, she tried to join that space, but she couldn't. And I said, how brave is that bird to face 3, 4 big human beings, but it flew away, and then he went in again. And I thought, that's the great love that we can express. We can also express the love of the Divine Mother, that is Mother of everyone, of all the creation, of all that exists.